Hello and welcome to Mostly Minnesota Music Podcast Edition. I'm Ann Tracy. I'm here with my co-host,
Heather Baker.
Yes, and we are here with Niki Beverly, aka Bev Band. Yes. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. We're super excited to talk about you've got a new album that's coming out on Friday, May 21st.
Yes, Pressure.
Yeah. I've really enjoyed listening to it. I guess even before we start there, you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Let's see. I grew up in Minnesota, born and raised rural Minnesota. I've been playing music for about 10 years. I used to play under the name Niki Becker, and then I got divorced and tossed that name aside and went with Niki Beverly to sort of took it as a moment to reinvent myself a little bit. And I've been performing as Bev for 3 years, 2 years, 3 years, something like that.
I'm trying to think, Heather. I think that what we saw you play at
Midwest.
Midwest Music Fest a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably under Niki Becker, maybe.
No, I think it was under Bev.
No, I think it was Beverly, I think, or Bev.
Okay.
At the VFW.
Yes.
Or Eagles. Yes. Whatever that was. Fun.
Dark bars. Yeah. Yeah, and enjoyed it. It was very fun. Very fun to see you. Yeah. Now I have to ask because we'll asking for different reasons. What part of rural Minnesota are you from?
I'm from the Carver County area. I moved around a lot as a kid, but within the county.
Okay.
So I think I counted once. I lived in like 30 different places by the time I moved out on my own. Like I'd already moved around. My dad just moved us around. He had jobs and we just kept moving. And
I had lived in 10 houses by the time I was 11. Then it leveled off. But so I know how you just do. It's something either you do or you don't do. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's awesome. I know. I do know Carver County, but it's not someplace you'd spend a lot of time. Like you wouldn't spend a week there because it's not that far.
No. I mean, if I go visit relatives, it's a 40-minute drive. So
yeah, it's good. That's just an afternoon. So you've been so now we'll kind of jump in to the new album. It's I've been enjoying the videos. They're great, but I like the music. There's such a diversity of music that you've got.
Yeah.
I got to pull up my notes so that I know that I'm talking about the right one. And it's just the one that struck me. It's not necessarily my favorite one. I mean, but Nothing Lasts Forever. I like kind of the jazz undercurrent there.
Yeah, I do too. I love how that one turned out. It didn't start out that way. It started out as a piano song that I wrote, solo piano song. And then I'm not a great piano player. Like I can bang out some chords, but so I felt like, it just needed something else. I just kept throwing other things on it. And I was like, oh no, it seems a little busy. And then I thought I'd just strip it down to electric guitar and just kind of do whatever little noodling, my bare minimum of noodling I can do on a guitar. And then Holly and I, the producer, Holly mentioned Megan Mahoney coming in to play bass, and she came in and it was just she can play jazz bass. And then I had JT Bates on drums, who's an amazing jazz drummer. And I'm like, well, what am I doing on this track? I'm just gonna step away and you two make this groove happen. So, they had my scratch guitar track to follow along to and just, they just did that. And then Addie Stray came on later and added that saxophone, and it was just
awesome. That's what what's funny is I had just assumed that was Mike Lewis because it went so well with JT's drumming.
Yeah, no, it was Addie. Yeah, she's so good.
Yeah, it was really the saxophone. I mean, I enjoyed the whole song, but I just thought it was such a nice song.
Yeah, I'm so pleased with how that turned out.
I like that you have so many different instruments too, or you hear the flute and the saxophone and it's just so layered. You do have great vocals, but you really let each piece shine too. And like Ann just said, you have such a wide range. It's crazy on this album. I love it. It's like a musical buffet.
I love albums like that. And I always like, I never want to be like, I'm just going to do this one thing because that maybe it's more cohesive. But like, I just love albums that have this mixture. Like I think of like the artist Mitski, like her early albums that are just kind of like, here's this big rocker and then here's this quiet little thing. And like, it's just like, it can be everything. And I think like the voice and the like the lyrics and the voice and that sort of just overall style ties it all together in the end. And plus when you've got great musicians playing, you gotta let them shine. I mean, like I'm not gonna step on their pathways there. So.
Yeah, it's like a mix and match. Like I don't know why we always think you're this on this album and then the next album you're this. I love the variety because it just hits every mood. But I liked the Oh Boy and the Bad Habit.
Yeah.
Those songs. Can you tell me a little bit about those? Because they have such different.
Yeah, Ooh Boy. Ooh Boy was the one's like the hard, like, well, that and Nothing Lasts Forever lyrically and just I guess with their meanings are probably the hardest ones for me, or the most like intense ones for me, just because of where they came from and what made them be. But musically, I think Ooh Boy stayed pretty much on the path that actually they both did. Ooh Boy and Bad Habit on the path that I had thought of them from the demos with just some really nice flair added to them by the players that I had. Yeah, that's. I remember we were recording Ooh Boy, and we recorded this album during COVID, and we were all in different rooms, only communicating with headphones and microphones, like everybody in their own locked doors.
Wow.
And then I was, usually when you record, you're able to, at least if you're not playing at the moment, you're with the producer, like you could, the engineer, you can be like, oh, that's good, And it was like halfway through that song, and I was like, oh, I can text Holly. Like while they're recording, so you want to talk into the microphone while they're doing their takes, and I would just be like, oh my god, this is so good. And she was just like fire emoji. So yeah, it was that one, like right on the spot, was just amazing. And I think, gosh, was that like a one take for them? It might have been, but wow. Yeah.
I like the country vibe of the Bad Habit too. It has, I don't know, like I just see you driving in a truck, giving the finger and driving off or something, like it just is like, because what from the song that Ann said to Ooh Boy, like it says the same thing, but your vocal tone is different. So I didn't know, like, when you're grabbing the emotion, if it's the same sort of topic, if in your mind it was polar somewhere else or something.
Yeah, I think of Bad Habit being even more like an inward song. It's, I look at how I reflect how I am in relationships in that song and how I'm, or at least how I used to. I'm trying to evolve past those things, but like my relationship faults that I have when I'm with someone, and also being a little tongue in cheek about it, and like, oh, I have scars on my knees, that sort of things from being so like working so hard for you kind of thing. Yeah, so it's slightly tongue in cheek, but also sincere in the same way. And that one we kind of went on it with a Twin Peaks vibe too, like that. If you're familiar with that show, like that sort of like that guitar that Holly did, that lead guitar in there, that's sort of got that just slightly off kilter vibe to it. I like.
Funny you mentioned that because it was that song or another that reminded me of, and we don't have to worry about FCC standards here, but one of my youngest kids' favorite series is End of the Fucking World. Oh. And they have a soundtrack that's kind of amazing. Mm-hmm. And it's very sort of where it's when I say it's retro, it's like retro 30s, 40s sometimes, but with a very new twinge on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of some of that.
Yeah, I like things that get a little just slightly off kilter. Like I just love like a good song, like a good straightforward song. But especially though when it's just something's a little off, a little different. Yeah.
But we're kind of missing the elephant in the room here because this is a deeply personal album. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how much you want to say about it or not, but I want to open the door because it's very, especially for anyone who's maybe been through it. Yeah. It's a very touching album. It's very it resonates quite a bit for
Yeah. That's sort of why I wanted to get it out even during COVID times when it was really hard to record, why I was really just like, I kind of need to get this one out there. And went about it the way I did. I got divorced in 2018 and it was not a happy ending. It wasn't amicable. There was, the whole thing involved there, and it destroyed me for a really good period of time that year, and took me a while to get out of it. But also in that destruction, I sort of really started to reflect, there's a lot of reasons things happen, and you sort of kind of look back and you're like, okay, well, there was things that happened that led to certain things, and here we are, and I wasn't a perfect person either. And that's not even just being like trying to make sense of it all. It's just I think anybody who's been married knows that it's two people trying to work things out, and some people in the end go this way and it end things in a bad way, and some people go this way, and we went that way, and unfortunately, and time has passed and it's fine now, like we chat and it's fine. But at the time I was completely just gutted, and then towards the tail end of the year it flipped, and I met someone and fell deep in love, which I didn't think would happen, especially not that soon. And so this album just really had this bookend of like just utter despair, and then also this like, oh my god, wow, having a crush on someone in love, and oh my god, it's so fun. Like I forgot what that's like. And so you kind of had both ends of the spectrum, and it really just captured this really weird time in my life. And so I had planned to get it out. I planned to start really like thinking about recording in 2020 anyway. I had just put out an album in 2018, right as I was divorcing. It was starting to, I was getting ready to release it. And I was like, oh, I got to have this album have its time and place. And so I was like, okay, 2020, and then COVID, and I was like, and I was originally going to make this album as sort of once I started talking to Holly, and I was like, okay, I can make an album during this time. It was going to be super just stripped down, just me and guitar, but then there's just all these really happy little circumstances that worked out where other people got to come in and play it. So yeah, long wraparound. It's deeply personal, and I like to bring it back to that Uboy song that is, straight from the breakup, there's no sugarcoating or metaphors or anything in that. And so that one's and I haven't had to perform it yet because of COVID. So, I don't know how I'll take it. I remember when I first got the rough mix back from Holly, I cried because I was like, oh my god, this is, do I want to put this on here? I had a little bit of a moment, but
it is a brave thing to do, because it's a yeah. But I think it will speak, for better or for worse, it will speak to a lot of people, because life experience is life experience.
Yeah.
And I think with the Crocodile Tears was a song where that idea of, having to choose between me and you, I realized there's no choice. I think that's something that a lot of people have experienced, but you have to be to a point where you're able to step well out of the situation to see that.
Yeah. And exactly. It's like it's a real reflection song of just looking at the situation and just knowing what you're not going to do differently now, what you're going to do differently, what you're not going to repeat, excuse me. That's the next time around, what you hope not to, it's hard not to fall into certain habits that we've all built for ourselves. But I think I've really learned a lot in the last few years, and I, really trying to fix those things and not fall into those same traps.
But it's a journey.
It's a journey.
It's a journey. It's you know what? I'm just going to ask you about the song January, because I have an idea of what it's about, and I don't know if I'm totally off base or not, but my first experience of it was with the video. So the imagery of the video very much melds to the story that I have of the song. So tell us about January.
Yeah, that one's it takes place in an argument. Actually, the second verse, I think that you could kill me verse, it's one of the things as a songwriter's revenge where or even just songwriter inspiration times where things pop into your head at just the most weirdest times, and you're like, oh wait. And that actually took place in an argument where that line just popped into my head as I think I was like arguing with him, this person, and I was just like, you could kill me. And it's not even like not like literal like stab kill, like just
right.
Just destroy me in a sense. And there's another song called You're Gonna Destroy Me. Yeah, like so it took place in an argument, and then it's sort of, I guess, up to the listener how they want to interpret how that kind of came about in the end. If you think the person's happy,
right.
or if they should get out of that relationship, or if you're like, okay, well, they seem to work it out, yeah.
Yeah. Besides the lyrics, the sound, the sonic in there, all I had is Molly Ringwald dancing in the Breakfast Club.
Yes.
Do you hear that?
Yes.
Okay, because I was like, it was crazy to me, like that. It's so funny how songs can give you images of, and that's exactly what came to my head. And I was like, oh, I love it. So I was more focused on imagery than the lyrics then too. But I
can't not dance when I hear that. Like I can't, I start moving, and I was like, well, this has got to be the first one I put out there. Because as a songwriter, I can't stop, pop into it.
It's got a great beat, I'll tell you, and partially because of the video. And the video is, it was shot you never know in Minnesota. It could have been that one warm day in January, but it's very much in that kind of springy, wintry, springy feeling. For some reason, just remind me of going to all ages shows at the 7th Street Entry as a kid.
Yeah.
Which is funny, because if I were going to, it could have been a song like January, but it would have been a song more like The Scenery. That would have been what I would have seen as a kid. A little punkier.
Yeah, that song, and for me, that song, The Scenery, it definitely has like for me, like I'm thinking about when I would have been that age to go to the entry. It was very like the 90s sort of vibes. we filmed January. It was in March, on like the most perfect weekend, and I worked with Zoe Prince-Flash, who was the director and filmer for the video. And we had these kind of talks of ideas. Originally, I was going to be out in the middle of the lake, like a frozen lake. And so that was an original thought. And then, it got warm.
I was going to say, you couldn't do that this year.
I was like, I'm not standing on the lake. And she's like, oh God, no, me either.
That would be a whole different ending.
Yeah, just fall into the lake. Oh, wouldn't that just be so cinematic and great? But, and so we kind of switched it up a bit with that, just going down to that area downtown and dancing around. And she was like, do you want to dance? And I was like, I don't know. She's like, would you mind dancing? I was like, we'll see how I feel. But she's so awesome, and I felt very just comfortable within her lens, and turned out great. So
you do a great job, and I love to dance, and it is not uncommon for me to
on camera.
Well, that was I was like, it's not uncommon for me to put my headphones on and dance for 2 hours, solo disco, I'll call it, or I'm the one, no beer required, although sometimes an option, front of the band, dancing by myself. I loved it, but a camera, like that was bold.
Yeah, in the middle of downtown. But yeah, like she's such a good director, and I just went with it. I just felt so comfortable, and I just felt like this is gonna look good. Like this is the right thing to do for this. So yeah, and I'm happy I did it. So thanks.
I was gonna say, it seems between her and Holly, you had such a good experience or trust there that maybe gave you a little more.
Incredible. She is just the warmest, kindest person, and I felt like just heard with her. Like we had so many lead up discussions just on phone, Zoom calls, what have you, just to like get prepped to record. And I would send her mixes of like, oh, here's what I'm listening to right now. Here's some like inspirational things, like vibes I'm thinking of, and then she would get back to me and be like, oh, I like this, and and this is great. And she sent me like a list of words that she thought like encapsulated what I was going for. And I was like, yes, oh my goodness. And it's so fun to like listen to the album now and just think about like where it started and our conversations and how she got it there. And like, it's like exactly, what I wanted, like what I had envisioned, and she made it happen, and she's just incredible. She's so talented.
Can I ask, is that normal to do, or, you know, like you said, you sent this to get the vibe and whatever, she sent you words, whatever, like, it's kind of like such an added bonus, like, for the whole process, and it's like, I don't know, more cohesive for you guys and for the listener.
Yeah, previous albums, I've definitely had meetups with the producer, engineers, people, or my last album was produced and engineered by my guitar player at the time, so he had been very involved already with like the crafting of the songs. So there wasn't a lot of additional work that needed to be like had there. And I guess I don't know if Holly typically does that with people, if it was just like a COVID scenario where we couldn't really get together and work things out in the way that you normally would in a studio. But I mean, it worked. It went really well, and I think it really helped to get the sound that we were looking for.
Or yeah, it seems like more intentional with your time to get, or the process than yeah, I got it, or I hear it, or you know what I mean, just because everybody's so go. Now it's like really like getting each other. I don't know.
Yeah, like even just getting like guitar tones down and things like that, like having some sort of idea that you can reference at least. Like, well, I remember that thing that I played you like that, and then like, oh yeah, and then she just is a wizard and knows how to turn all the pedal knobs the right way to get that sound, and then and makes it happen. So yeah, I mean, it was so helpful to have those early talks with her to make that work out in a very efficient, safe manner for what we had to do during these times.
Well, it's funny to think of the impact of it being produced during COVID really made, because he said you might have just gone with yourself and a guitar before, but some of these people were probably more available because they weren't able to perform last year.
Okay. Yeah. So it was, like I said, it was just gonna be me and my guitar with like maybe some like vibes added in the studio or what have you. But when Holly and I started talking about what we were gonna do, my partner is a drummer, Dan. He played on the album on a few songs, and we lived together, and so like we could practice together. And so he and I had started working on a few songs, and he's like, well, I can throw some drums on for you. And so like I was like, okay, well that'll be the drums for the album, like that's fine. And then those are all the drums I'll need then, just those 3 songs. And then Holly was like, well, JT Bates shares the studio space with me and he's available. And if I can, see if he's down to do this. And I was like, yes. I mean, Alpha Consumer is like my favorite band in town. So yeah, absolutely. Sign him up.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Fat Kid Wednesdays and a lot of his stuff that he does, he's.
Oh, yeah, I mean, he's so great. And that's where he works out of, is that studio. So he's got his own setup, its own like full gear is right there. And so it was like, yeah, let's do that. And then Megan is an amazing like studio, I always want to say magician, because she's like a magician. And she played bass, and she's so versatile, and she's like, this is just what she does. She comes in and makes it happen on bass, and like she could do the jazz song, she could do the kind of pop punky sort of song, she could do the the darker like distorted bass. I mean, she could just do it all, and she did it like quick and in a few takes, and like on a Saturday afternoon, like it was just so fast. And yeah, so that was, it just sort of fell together really nicely with that. And then yeah, Addie came in, and like Holly was like, I think this would be really cool with the saxophone, and I was like, yes. And that was actually after like we'd already, before we knew that one song was Nothing Lasts Forever was going to be a jazz song. So she came in to do Crocodile Tears, and then it's like, well, this turned into a jazz song. Would you mind putting some saxophone too? And she did, and she's great.
It was, I liked it in Crocodile, but it really, with that Nothing Lasts Forever, that was just the perfect amount of salt. It was just.
Oh yeah,
made it even better. Yeah,
I agree.
Well, and I like that you're going to destroy me. I am a big noise fan, so the cacophony at the end of that, I just.
Yeah. I like how that turned out too. That's actually a love song.
Well, that makes sense.
But it's part of that new love, that I was talking about, where like, okay, well now we're doing this, so and I just came off of this really bad thing, so like, do I want to go down these waters and just kind of putting up the shield a little bit to protect yourself? That's what that's what I mean by a love song. Yeah, and that cacophony at the end, yeah, that's that buildup was there. When we used to do it with my band, that was the one song that before COVID on the album that my band, my like live band, the band that I play shows with, had done live, and it had like this Cure vibe, like the Cure, which was awesome too, super awesome, and I'm sure we'll like revisit that when we do live shows sometimes, and yeah. So then when we got to the recording stage, I was like, well, it'll be fine, just my guitar. But then I was really loving how we added the wildness at the end there.
It will be a challenge now, though. I mean, thinking about it, have you thought through how you're going to play these live? I mean, that's
my band has been the band I play with. My live band have been vaccinated for. All of us have been vaccinated for a while now, which is great. So we've started practicing again. So that's been a lot of fun, and trying to get some shows together. And yeah, like we've just really been rolling through the album, kind of one song after the other each practice, and just trying to get, because they don't know these songs either, which is like the hard part. It's not the hard part, but like the sad part. Like we were gonna do this and then we couldn't. And so, but I had to, so to do it. And so yeah, getting them just up to speed on the songs, and they're doing really great, and I'm super excited to play them live, and I think it's gonna sound really good.
oh, absolutely, yeah.
It's just so fun to like, because I haven't played these songs live with other people, and so to like, remember the first practice, it was just me and my drummer Danny and my bass player Bart, and just to like suddenly play like January live with other people. It's like, and just it was just magical. It was really, really wonderful.
I was going to say, when you're nervous that singing some of the songs live, you'll have, I'm thinking, or I don't know, I guess, Dan in the back, your partner, playing drums. So you're like, I'm good here. I'm good.
So like Dan is my partner, and my actual live drummer is also named Danny.
Oh.
So there's like two. So Dan played on the album, and Danny plays live shows with me.
Oh, sorry.
No, the audience.
Dan will be dancing for you in the front, right?
Look at him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But it will be, well, because we've said the album isn't out yet.
Right.
So you have, I mean, you've had feedback from folks like us, but it'll be so much fun for you to get that feedback.
Yeah.
Versus the recorded music. And then I'm sure you're getting some from people from the videos. Yes.
Yeah. It's been fun. It's both wonderful and also terrifying to release an album. And, it's just really nice to finally share these songs and hear people think of them and put them out there. I'm really proud of these songs. I feel like they're some of the best I've ever written, and I'm glad to get to share them. I'm glad they didn't get lost in 2020. Didn't get lost to 2020.
No, that's good. I think we're always looking for the silver linings, of 2020. And this definitely is just that it came out, but also I think that you had this unique opportunity to do it in a different way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think I'm just like the most, and the only like kind of disappointing thing about the album release is that I can't do a show, or I could have, but things opened up faster than, it was kind of like, I wasn't planning to do a show because things were closed, and then they suddenly opened up, and, so that's the only, like I said, that's, that I can't like really celebrate it with, on stage with a bunch of people. But we'll get there. We've got things in the works, so we'll get to celebrate it.
That makes me want to ask, but I won't. I was. Did you have the same video team for the video for Madrid?
No, I did that one myself.
I was going to say it's more of a lyric video. So
Yeah, that one, I wanted to put out one more thing before the album came out, and I thought of doing a lyric video, but I'm not an animator. I don't know how to like make it visually interesting, and I just thought I liked the idea of, the song is really talking to someone, it's someone directly, and whether that's your lover, partner, best friend, travel mate, whatever you want it to be, and whispering the things that you want to do with them, and how you feel about them, and how, just really happy you are, even though we can't go to Madrid, we can still be here together, and so I wanted that intimacy, and so I did the mouth thing, and that worked, and
it's fantastic. It's very engaging.
I was like, is it weird? It's just this is boring to look at. I was like, I'm gonna put the lyrics on here too.
Well, you were blessed with a beautiful face, and that helps. But that's not just it. I think it's very, it is very engaging. It's just very interesting to watch. And then you've got some of the transposed pictures of the airplane or the beach or the different place.
Yeah, I was like looking through my old Insta stories, like, oh god, I have a thing from a plane I took.
Oh, that's great.
Like, oh, I took this thing of traffic. Cool.
Well, now you can go back and you can deduct that trip.
Right. Hey, it's good.
It's business owner. No, it is. It's very, because I think that people have the video has been the gift for people who like music, like to listen to music, because we've been missing live music for a long time, so to be able to see it in a video format has been it's been a little bit of methadone.
Yeah, and I've been enjoying watching like live streams. I wanted to do one. I don't really have a good space for it in my life to do one. And plus, early on in COVID times, I would just kind of record myself playing guitar, and like these songs actually just stripped down and put them up wherever. And then I just life got really busy, and the world got busy, and I was just like, okay, I can't focus on the marketing and like that sort of promotional stuff. I don't have the mental capacity to do that right now. So I'm gonna be the musician. I'm gonna follow, try to just get the songs done. And I just felt, I don't know, like weird singing to the camera. I don't know. Like I just get really, I don't know, I'm insecure.
Which makes me all the more impressed that you could dance through the video.
Yeah. But I do like the videos because it does kind of connect us more to you. Like you were just saying, these are it's you, pictures from your trip. Like it just adds that layer that we're missing from the live shows when you talk between songs and whatever. And that's why I know Ann and I are like, thank you for the videos.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad they're getting seen. Thank you for sharing them.
Oh, yeah. Delighted. It is. Yeah. Because this is the kind of album that I could listen to. It's funny because it's the kind of album that now I could listen from start to finish many times. As a kid, I would have listened to this song repeatedly. Like I know I would have started with The Scenery, and I would have listened to that one until someone threw a pair of socks at my head. So my dad beamed me in the head with some socks, and then I would have listened to, which is that beauty of having so many different genres, because then I would have moved on to, Nothing Lasts Forever, and that it really is a very full album in that respect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm constantly inspired. Like I can't not be inspired. I hear like something new. Like I just bought an album out of the blue this weekend. I was at the record store to pick up the St. Vincent album, and there next to her album on the shelf was this woman, Lael Neal. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. But I liked the cover. I don't know what it was. I haven't done this since like probably high school when I had.
I was gonna say that sounds like
an album, but I was like, oh, that's nice. And I turned it over. I'm like, oh, those are cool song titles. And I like pulled up my phone to YouTube and was like, listened to like the 20 seconds of the first song. And I was like, oh, this is incredible. And I bought it, and I can't stop listening to it now. And I'm just like, And then I got inspired and I'm like, I must go write a million songs. Like I just get inspired by other people's creativity and just, just music and songs. And I just like, so then I can't just focus on one area. I'm like, oh, I want to write this, like the Before the End song, which is the really heavier, bassy, distorted bass song. I mean, that's, like the PJ Harvey in me that comes out there. Whereas like, I don't know, the Bad Habit might be more of the Jenny Lewis that comes out of me. I mean, just like there's all these influences, these women that I love and I just, admire and I love their sounds. And I just try to take all of their influences and make it my own and turn it into my own thing. And
I love that. Do you always do that? Like grab from, that's one of my things, like when I was listening to all the different, like I wondered if it started out you were gonna go this way and all of a sudden you're like, oh no, but this instrument has this vibe, so maybe I should pull it this way.
Yeah, it's more, the latter, the latter. I always get that mixed up. It's not that I'm like, I don't want to write a PJ Harvey song. It's just like, that's who's in my influence bucket, and so I don't want to just pull from the one bucket. I want to like pull from all the buckets, because why limit myself to try to, I feel like I get inspired. By inspired, I must mean like, motivated just to push to do better, and so like, I want to be amongst these people and that I'm influenced by. And so, like, that's just, I can't not pull from all the different buckets. I have to, like, I can't just put myself in one of them. I have to pull from all of them. And it's not even intentional. It's just what happens. Like, and then I listen to them like, oh, afterwards, I'm like, oh, that's like where that came from. And that's like, that reminds me, like that's where all these little parts of my life, just like with lyrics, when you pull from all your different emotional background buckets, when you're writing like, oh, where did that come from? Oh, wow, that was that memory. There it is, I thought I repressed that, oh, that's right, that's this. Oh, that's about that person, or that's about me, or that situation. And so like, there's just so many different things that are for me that I just get inspired by when I write. And so.
I'm jealous because I love when we've talked to people and how you get to be so creative with, moments in your life or a certain person or whatever. It's such a cool way to, tell your story or a story that catches your attention or whatever. It's pretty inspiring just to be able to create something out of a moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm such a music fan. Just love music. And like I said, I want to explore all aspects of it as much as I can. And that's what I try to do when I make an album, is not just have it be one thing.
When you kind of, if I could write songs, all of my songs would be a revenge song, and Heather knows that for sure. Been only on one topic, but you sort of alluded to that before. But writing something like this, is it cathartic? Is it draining? Are you more like me? Sure.
This one was super cathartic, and I learned a lot about myself writing it, just because I tried to be a little more self-reflective. I mean, there was like the initial angry, really sad, in the moment songs like Ooh Boy that came out, but then like Crocodile Tears, which came out much later, just sort of looking inward a bit. And, I think that's important. And yeah, it was super cathartic in that way. Just kind of checking in with myself to see where I'm in and where I'm at now. And am I okay? And
yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun to imagine singing them 3 years from now, and will they, but how will the reaction be for yourself then?
Yeah. That was why it was so important to really try to get them out before before you lose those feelings. I wanted the album to be honest. I don't want to just sit on songs. I also get really anxious when I have new songs. I tend to write a lot, and because of that, I've lost a lot of songs through the years that maybe even I liked, but never really got a chance because maybe something better came along with a song, like, oh, the next song is better. So I guess if I'm going to now I have 20 songs for an album, but I got to cut it down. So goodbye to those songs. And then they get lost, and, I lose like a demo record and they're just gone forever. And so like, I want to stop doing that.
You said, don't you have a vault somewhere you could be putting these?
I mean, like, I have, my computer has a bunch of stuff now, but now it does. Like, now I try to be really intentional about recording even just the smallest little morsels of things, just so I don't lose them. There's definitely a vault really. And then there's things like, I used to perform under a different name, and I have four albums under that name. That, I toyed with, like, do I keep performing those songs or not? And I don't think I will, which is kind of bad in and of itself, because there's songs in there that I really love.
Oh yeah,
yeah, but they'll be like harder to find, because if I'm under Bev now, and then it's just like, I guess that was then, this is now. And
well, again, it'll be interesting to see how you feel about that in 3 years.
Yeah.
Because that's given up I'm sad for clothes that I've lost, and I didn't make any of them. Like, that is a hard thing to give up something like that. That's
Yeah. There's also like I could just, re-record some of them. Like, re-record some of my favorites, just pull from my own, plagiarize myself,
Yeah.
Pull from my own.
Or at least use that as a starting point and see where you go with the,
exactly.
Oh, yeah. It sounds like you could just be recording all the time.
I wish I could. I would love it. Yeah.
Well, I think that your time was well spent in 2020.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you've come out with an amazing product.
Mm-hmm.
I also think if you weren't interested in doing the marketing end of it, I think the marketing end of it was so weird in the last year.
Yeah, and nobody really knew what to do. Nobody knew what to do. Everybody's kind of like, does this work? Does this work? And I still don't know. I still don't quite know what to do anymore. Because you're not really, like, we're meeting via Zoom. I mean, like, there's probably, that's kind of how things are still going right now. And, do you really plan for something? Do you, like, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Hopefully it'll get sorted out. It will get sorted out one way or the other. And I imagine it'll be, I don't think Zoom will go away.
Mm-hmm. No.
But live concerts aren't going to go away either. We had a radio show that's been closed because of COVID, because we worked out of a college campus.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So hopefully we'll get back in there.
Yeah.
But when we do, we won't be doing hour-long videos, or we won't do hour-long interviews. We'll be playing music. So it's I mean, the cards are still shuffling.
Yep. Yeah, and it's like I said, I'm trying to put something together and finding, like, do you play indoors? Or is it okay to book something? And it's like you're just trying to, like, I don't know know what to do. So yeah.
Well, and then it's Minnesota. You can plan to play outdoors, but
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for people to be able to hear this, and I think it will reach a lot of the right people. I mean, I think that there is a message that will help other people through difficult times. I think that's absolutely certain. But even if you're not, if that's not you, I think that there's a lot to enjoy, either song to song and through the album as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely it's an album about a divorce. It's a divorce album, but there's also a light in there about, you can get through it, and there's light at the end, and happiness too. So
that's
yeah,
good.
I like the title Crusher, because it, like, a crush, like, oh yay,
yep,
lovey-dovey, and then the like,
come at you in all sorts of ways. It could do all sorts of things to you. Yeah, I like that you got that from it, because that was the intention. So the like tongue-in-cheekness of it is that I don't know if either one of you watch Star Trek, but there is a Star Trek Next Generation. There is a character named Dr. Beverly Crusher, and I got really into this show over the last isolation quarantine, like I started watching it and I was falling asleep to it one night, and it was an episode focused on her, and I was like, oh, Crusher is such a good album title. I'm totally gonna name Crusher. And I was thinking about all the ways that it was a really good thing, and then I was like, and my name is Beth. I fell asleep, and the next morning I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited. This is gonna be so great.
This is when you have to write a thank you card to the universe and say, thank you for this little gift. I love that story.
Yeah. It's like a little, thank you to the show that like helped me get through the quarantine. I got kind of obsessed, so I still am. So I've never watched it before.
Nice. That's funny. Well, we've been talking about it enough. I will include this in the notes, but let people know how they can find you and how and when they can find the album.
So the simplest way, I guess, would be bevmusic.com. That's the website. And on there, right on the front page, there's a link to the Bandcamp order page. And as of Friday, you should be able to listen to the album either there or on Bandcamp. And it comes out on Friday, and I will have it posted midnight Thursday, Friday, 12:01 a.m. Friday. It'll be live and ready to go. There's 3 songs up there right now that people can listen to and decide if they want to hear more. I hope you do.
How will you celebrate on Friday? You got to have something.
I don't know. I'm going out to dinner on Thursday. Friday, I don't know. I might just curl up in a ball. I don't know what to do. That's what I mean. It's weird not to have like a show or something. I'm just like, I don't know. I guess I'll get maybe some champagne and hang out and with my cats and my boyfriend and I don't know.
Let your phone blow up when everybody's telling you how much they love it.
I hope so.
I have a feeling you will.
I'm sure of it. We loved it. If we loved it, they'll love it. So that's.
Yeah.
Well, it's fun to hear more about how it was made and about you. And I'm so glad that there's a happy ending to it.
Yes. Yeah. There was a time, I didn't think there would be. And so let everyone know that there's also.
It's a good chance for happy ending usually. Yeah. That's good. Well, Niki, thank you so much for being with us. Enjoyed talking to you.
For having me. This was lovely. Thank you so much for supporting and sharing things and really appreciating this, like beyond me, what you all are doing for our local scene here. It's really great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.